Howdy. So what I'm going to try to do for polymorphism is go through a lot of inheritance first, get that set up so then I can show you exactly how polymorphism works, but at the just very lowest level of defining polymorphism. So what you're going to see is me create code from our employee class where we talked about full-time professor and part-time professor that's showing up now. I'm going to create that, get it working for inheritance, and then show you how polymorphism can work on top of that. So there's going to be a lot of stop and go or quick and all that stuff here, but let's get going. So you're going to need at least 4 classes for this. One for each of the classes, which is going to be employee, which is going to be the superclass, your full-time professor, part-time professor, and driver. So you're at least going to start seeing me work on getting those classes set up. Now that I've got employee set up, I got the driver done. You probably saw that real quick with the main, as I'll call it. Gonna spit that out. Now I have to worry about some of the stuff that we talked about in the notes, which was our last name, first name, and social security number. So you may not be used to some of the shortcuts that I'm about to do, and that's why I am doing this. So last name we know is going to be a string. We knew that first name's going to be a string. Notice I made those variables into one letter. Social security number, I forget what we did for that. Birth date, I'm going to make that a string. You know, I want to make them all string for now just to make it honestly easier on me. I'm starting with the data members first because frankly there's something in Eclipse, and I'm sure there is for other IDEs out there, where I can go to source, generate getters and setters. I'm going to select all. Let's see, insertion point after address, so you have to be very careful. Sorted by setters and getters. There are different others. There are options. Setter and getter pairs. I like doing getters and then setters. That's me personally. I'm going to hit OK. And voila, there's all these items. Now, to be honest with you, I like putting them all on one line because they're, well, it shortens everything up. Let me do that. And then I'm going to space things out just one. There. So all the setters and getters done. Now, as you know with the complete class profile, I really need everything. I'm going to just do one more. I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to do 2 more. I'm going to do the toString, which I'm going to put at the very end. It's going to have all the fields. I'm going to put it, there should be, put it after the last function, set address. I'm going to hit OK. And there is our toString. Okay, so there's that. And I'm going to do one more for the constructor. And we'll do after address. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so let me scroll this down a little bit down here. Okay, so that's everything for employee. Now, what I'm going to do, I don't need super because this is going to be a super class, so I don't need that. Yes, I am particular about my squiggly braces. That's okay. You don't have to worry about that part. I'm going to just try to create a very simple employee. I'm doing this to frankly make sure that everything works. That's it. So I'm going to copy this employee. I actually don't want to be careful there. There we go. Driver, going to go to driver. Now we're going to try this out. Notice that driver is in the same class as employee. I'm going to do employee. So notice it's trying to help you. No, it says 5. Employee equals, oh, you know what? Wow. See, professors make mistakes too. So there it is. I'm going to go ahead and save everything. By the way, there is a save button right here to save all. Go back to driver. I'm going to run the sucker, make sure it's good to go. And yes, there it is. Okay. So notice I'm going to do this each time. So I got employee, and now I'm going to do full-time professor. Now notice, by the way, because I know it's a subclass, it has constructors from superclass. That should work, but we're going to try it out. And notice it didn't do anything. I'm not totally surprised by that because remember, we need to do extends because this one is extending from employee. Need to put that up there. Okay, good. Okay. Now I got to worry about, I'm going to do the same thing as I did with employee. I'm going to put all the data members in there first. So first of all, got all the data members in there. So we're going to do the getters and setters. Don't worry about this. I got to get the constructor in there. Yes, it's complaining about me and the constructor. So don't worry about that part. All right, so let's get in our source, do our getters and setters, do it after 6 days. Let's save it like last time. Select all, hit OK. Okay, good. Okay, next we're going to do the toString. This time it has inherited items, okay, that you want to pull from. You definitely want to do that. So inherited fields. You could do it methods instead or inherited methods. You could use the getters and setters. Let's do that way. So once you get used to that one, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. I want to do this after, not sick days, but or the after the function sick days. Hit OK. And there it is. Now, notice, by the way, it's pulling from two things. We're going to be getting stuff from both, which locally, vacation days and other things like that. But we're also going to get from our, well, employee class or our super class, which is the get social security number, get birthday, get address. All of these items it's going to have access to because it is inheriting employee. So it has access to those as well. All right, now I'm going to finish out with the constructors. Now notice as I create this, it's not just vacation days, health insurance. It automatically puts the first name, last name, social security number. That's a really, really, really long constructor, isn't it? The good news is that's our only level for a full-time professor here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, copy and paste all of this. So anyway, I'm going to go back to driver. And I think you know what I'm about to do. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. Come on, driver. And go ahead and create a new, this time a full-time professor of somebody else just to make sure the darn thing works. Lupoli this time. Okay. Save that. Run it. Run it. And there's Lupoli. Now, oh, there's the first name. I was wondering where the heck that was. There's first name, there's last name. So there's everything there. Now, how did this work out real quick? Only because, frankly, well, if you go back to a full-time professor, I should say, notice here's the setting of the data members for full-time professor. Then it passes the other values that the superclass really needs in order for it to do its job too. And that's last name, first name, social security number, birth date, and address. That's what the super is there for. It's telling, hey, super, here's the information that you need in order to complete your creation, your constructor, in order for you to do its job. Now, full-time professor's done. Let's take a look at part-time professor. This one's much easier, right? Because they really don't care about part-time professors all that much. But anyway, so string number, contact number, we'll do string. And guess what I'm going to do? Now, for some reason, I don't, oh, wow. So I forgot something. So notice how super doesn't have anything in there? We just talked about that. You know why? Honestly, because I did forget this. Extends employee. Completely forgot about it. So to be honest with you, I really actually should do most of this over again. The constructor sucks, and so does the toString, because remember, toString is going to grab all that stuff. So I'm glad I did this so you can see this live. So I'm going to do the source. This time I'm going to do constructor using fields. I'm going to hit last member was, let's see, I'll do it this way. Okay. Now you'll notice how the super is in there. Okay. Just because I forgot the extends employee here. Okay, that's good. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the source2 string. And I'm going to use the inherited methods. And then I think we hit OK. There it is. And notice it gets first name. That is not anywhere in here. Okay, that is set up for the super class. And now we're going to go ahead and create an instance of a part-time professor. Anyway, just going to run this. And there he is, Eric Munson. All right, so that is the inheritance part. And notice, by the way, I am using every single portion of the objects that we created for all this. Employee, full-time professor, part-time professor. That's getting everything organized. Now, I'm sure it took me a little bit longer than what this video is, but notice it didn't take me too long, so that's the good news. Now, and then you notice I made some dumb mistakes here and there too. Anyway, now let's show polymorphism here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have employee temp, and for now I am showing you how we would set it to some other value using polymorphism. We know it's going to be an employee, but this time let's make it a part-time just to make it easier on us. Part-time professor. So notice so far so good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that system out that temp line. Okay, with temp. I'm going to hit enter for now. I'm going to hit run it. And notice, there's Miss Jensen. Now you're saying, okay, so what did employee really do? I hear you on that. The bad part is that right now, in this part of polymorphism, I'm setting everything. We know it's going to be an employee. We just don't know what type yet. But then we specify it a little bit later on. And that's the power of this, is that knowing that, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to have a new employee put in somewhere. I just don't know what it is yet. So we'll wait till it happens or when we really needed it to happen, then we can use it. So this is just hard coding this, which is really not useful when it comes to polymorphism. What happens if we have a decision? Let's see what that looks like. Now we have a decision that's going to be made. I am making a very simple flag just to show you when it's true, it's going to create the part-time professor of Megan Jensen. Matter of fact, I'm going to prove it. Well, you know what? Let's take 2 lines out here. I'm going to prove it at the end here. Too far. And then when I set it to false, it's going to make one of me. So just because of one condition, it is enabled to create 2 very different objects, one of full-time professor right here and the other one of part-time professor. And I'm going to prove it by showing things out. So I'm going to hit save here. I'm going to hit run again this time because it is set to true. We're going to create Megan Jensen. That's the only output you should see is Megan Jensen here. And well, we do it twice. Why twice? Oh, it's because I have another system out that print line. Yeah, let's run that again real quick. And there it is. There's Megan and Jensen. Voila. Now the only thing I'm going to change is this one variable. Wow. Don't be dyslexic. And now I'm using the same variables, but this time I'm creating a full-time professor, and that's what polymorphism is now I can create Lupoli, there's Sean. It's a very different object, and that's the polymorphism, is being able to create an object that's very similar to one another, but there's enough differences that, hey, for one decision, we got to make a full-time professor. For another decision, we need to make a part-time professor. Or we make a whole nother different type of employee altogether, janitor, secretarial, whatever. That's the beauty of using polymorphism. As long as they're related, as that chart is coming up here, as long as they're related, that's where polymorphism comes into play. I get to reuse it and use it on the fly depending on some data that comes in. Pretend we're reading from a file. And the file has different data, or I shouldn't say data types, but different members of what they're going to be, or different employees of what they're going to be. Then we can customize it. Hey, this one's a full-time professor, the next one's a part-time professor, next one's a secretary, next one's an advisor. We can create code that's a little bit more customized. That's the beauty of polymorphism.